people, how's everyone gotta fix the cameras over here? What's up, party people? How's everybody doing? I'm hoping everybody's having a beautiful day. We actually have a lot to talk about today, and we're gonna try to stay inside of the actual court case, if y'all don't mind. Um, what I'm gonna do is, since I know a lot of y'all like talking to me about other things other than what our main topics are, I'll just, when I go on my walks, I'll go live more often and have the conversations with y'all there, like when I'm walking to this store or that store, like whatever I'm doing outside. So then that'll give me the opportunity to discuss other things with you guys that don't have to do directly with the content that we're covering. Now, with that being said, I want to get to the content that we're covering. We're talking about YNW Melly today. The prosecution has rested their case. Also, I just want to say one thing. I have a screen door on the front of my house. So what happens is I live, close to the beach. And we have like a lot of fauna over here. So what happens is when I open the door, sometimes shit flies in, fam. There's nothing I can do about that. So with that being said, at the 5 minute mark, we're gonna do roll call. We're gonna be talking about YNW Melly today. I just want to be clear on that. We're gonna be talking about the prosecution resting their case. We're gonna be talking about some of the things that the last witness that the prosecution brought up. We're going to talk about the significance of last witnesses, and we're going to talk about what the what the defense, because the defense has said that they're not even going to need the whole day in order to be able to before they rest their case, and I'm going to speak on that. But before we say any of that, there's a couple of things that I want to mention real quick that involve hip hop, pop culture, and that we will most likely be getting to later if this is things that guys want to discuss. One of the things that I want to say is there's this video going around about some friends, and it was homegirl's birthday apparently, and they all ordered food at a restaurant, and the bill came back, and the bill was like 40 something $100, and they was like split it evenly. One, I want to know how many people was there. That's one. Two, I don't like this split equally thing always, and I'm going to say this why. I think that this is something that you have to do before we go out. Everyone needs to know this. And the reason why I say this is because let's say only half of the party knows this. So they're ordering crazy, insane things. While the other people are ordering to be conservative because they feel that they're going to have to just pay for their bill. So maybe they just ordering something that costs $40, $50. While the other individuals that know that the whole bill is going to get split, they ordering shit that costs $200, $300. So I think that this is a conversation you have to have before y'all go out in general. I think this is another one of those lack of communication situations, because often in all communities, just in the world right now, there's a big lack of communication. Like there's people that purposely are intending to misunderstand things so later they can play the victim. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, just so we can know how I feel about this is a conversation that we have to have before we get to the place. I'm going to tell you about a personal experience of mine. I'm leaving all names, places, and individuals out of it. I'm just going to tell you that me and Kendra, we go out on basically a triple date with a extra person. And we're hanging out and we're doing stuff. We end up going to a restaurant at the end of the night. We get to the restaurant, everybody orders. When me and Ken, this is why I'm explaining to you why I don't feel this. You have to tell people beforehand. When me and Kendra ordered, we ordered, food that we wanted to eat. Do not get this confused. But we would have ordered differently, probably, if we knew that everybody was just going to split the bill down the middle. We ordered, conservatively, or whatever the case might be. We would have been a little bit more outlandish. But that wasn't an issue for us. I just want to be clear. There was a different individual that was there that did not know that this was going to happen. They did not even know that we was going to go out eating after the other event that we went to. And they had a situation with their financial situation. So what ends up happening is they ask a person at the place, what, can you front me? A person that shouldn't even have an issue fronting them, by the way. Ask them, could they front me? That person has like a little a job. He's a hustler or whatever. He's, he owns a little company. So he's like, I'll come and I'll work it all for you, right? So that should be the end of that, right? Do you not know that the person that he asked this to later on during the fucking show, during the night, the person that he asked this to then told the whole entire party what was going on, as they then talk shit about this individual in front of their girlfriend. So the point in which I'm going to make is, this is something that needs to be discussed beforehand, and it don't got nothing to do with people being able to have the money for it. I felt the way, and we had the money for it. Somebody else was left in a bad situation because this is in the conversation that we had beforehand. And on top of that, the person that was left in a bad situation, they ordered off the child's menu. So we have an individual order off the child's menu, but you want them to split. Hey, I think the bill came to, it wasn't that much. It was like $600 or something. The bill came to like $600, but you want the person that ordered off the child menu to then pay equally with everybody else. So that was just some BS. With that being said, let's do roll call and get to the show. Shout out to Ben Roman. He says top of the morning, Mr. Frost and the BBN family. Salute. Shout out to NYC Facts. Salute. Hope everything's going well with you and yours. He says nice. We finally back. We back up in the house. Shout out to Ganju Roach. He said I'm paying for my own meals when I'm with a group. Me and my woman show up when we order off the menu, and you don't tell us beforehand that we just gonna split the bill. For us to then tell you that we don't feel comfortable doing that, we're not splitting the bill, because I'm going to most likely tell you we don't feel comfortable doing that. I have to be with some people who they've bought my meal before and I've bought their meal before. I feel comfortable doing shit like that with those people. That we all out somewhere, everybody got money, but now I got this. Bang. We could split shit. You understand? We somewhere paying for some shit. Nah, don't worry about it. I got this. Bang. Yeah, I could split whatever with people like that. You understand what I'm saying? But not everybody has that energy. You understand? How many of your friends, when y'all stop the car and they run in the store, do they come out with something complimentary for you that they bought for themselves? Like they like, yo, I'm thirsty, man. Stop the whip. You pull over and shit, and they run in the store. You stay in the car, and they come out and they bring you a drink because they bought themselves a drink. You feel me? Like those type of people, we can split the bill. Let me know how you feel about it. Put it in the chat. Shout out to the Art of D Glass. This is peace, blessings. BBN fam. Shout out to SC. This is peace, king. Peace. Let's get to the show. All right, so there's a couple of things that I want to say real quick about the YNW Melly case, and this is what you really need to understand and comprehend. The prosecution has been messing up their case, their evidence, and have been having things excluded this whole entire time. So this is what you're trying to do. This is what the intent of you putting together your case do. You want to start at point A, because the thing that's at point Z is the thing that you want to say. The thing that's at point B is the thing that you want to say. That's not even an appropriate question to ask me, so I'm going to assume that you're not the real NYC Facts. I am going to remove that comment, though. I'm going to wait for the next comment that don't make sense, and then I'm assuming you're not NYC Facts. I'm assuming that's a fake comment, fake account at this point. So I want to be clear about something. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. You start off at A because at Z is the thing that you want to say. So the whole entire point A through point Y is how you're setting up your point Z. This is the problem that a lot of people have when they talk about they don't understand what the attorneys are doing, because you don't understand what the attorneys are doing. You think the attorneys are trying to prove this separate point, that separate point, that separate point, that separate point. No, they're trying to prove one point. These are just the steps that it takes to get to that point. You understand what I'm saying? So I say all that to say this. Listen and pay attention. Listen and pay attention. They had the lead detective on the stand. This is your main big witness that's supposed to put the hammer, the last hammering in the nail. This is the last nail in the coffin. This is your last piece of evidence. You're basically showing to the jury to say that that what we're asking you to do is the right thing. And then that lead detective gets on the stand. And after you're done with him and he's talking to the defense team, he admits to threatening witnesses to say the things that he wants them to say. I'm going to say this again. Your lead detective, shout out to Shakar SP, what up, Mako? Your lead detective decides at some point during the investigation that he's going to threaten individuals with incarceration. I'm going to talk in a second why this is so important. That he's going to threaten people with incarceration. He was threatening to deport people back to their countries. People he can't even have deported back, by the way. So he was threatening people with illegal behavior. I want to say something real quick. Not all police officers are bad. But it is important for us to recognize the ones that are and then treat them accordingly. I'll say this again. Not all police officers are bad. I know there's this belief that no police officer ever was abused in school and bullied. That's not the case. But when you have situations like this, these police officers need to be, their actions need to be acknowledged and they need to be held accountable. Now, I need for you to understand, let's say, and we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about, I think his name is 10K Management, whatever that guy is. We got to talk about him too. But listen, pay attention. We can't have police officers, especially detectives, bullying information out of individuals because then we can't trust the information. Does that make sense? Give me a second. Now, do you understand why this is such a big deal for the people who don't get it? What happened with their first witnesses that they brought out? Or one of the other witnesses that they brought out? They also said that the DA's office was trying to bully them. The only difference is they wasn't criminals. So for all the individuals that's thinking, oh, it's okay for the police officers to do what they did because they're just trying to get to the truth, the DA's office also bullied regular citizens and tried to force them to get on the stand and say what they wanted them to say. This is not the way that the justice system is supposed to work. So this prosecutor has put multiple people on the stand that have confirmed that individuals are being threatened in order to give the testimony that they want to hear. Somebody put in the chat, 2 people, do I think Melly is going to be found which way or whenever? I don't have no opinion on it. We're talking about a case that before it actually went to trial, they made it seem like it was a foregone conclusion. Now, come to find out, much of the evidence that they was talking about they have isn't even admissible in the court. I guess we should talk about reasonable doubt. When we get to 20 likes on this video, I'll discuss. When we get to 30 likes on this video, I'll discuss how the possible reasonable doubt for the individuals that want to speak about the chance of YNW Melly being found guilty or the chance of YNW Melly being found innocent. I'll discuss the reasonable doubt when we get to 30 likes. How about that? Y'all give me something, I give you something. Shout out to Chase Money, says, what up, Jack? You think Melly gonna beat it? I'll discuss that when we get to 30 likes. Mako says, do you think Kelly is beating this case? I'll discuss that when we get to 30 likes. Also, can you just hit the like button so we could send out some notifications, let people know that we live. Also, since we were at this break, if you are enjoying this show or just want to support the content, you could always pull up to the Cash App, PayPal, and or Super Chat. Also, there are links in the description to our merch, and I think that we actually have some merch pinned, some shorts pinned to this video. Go check them out. You might like them on yourself or on your significant other. Or, I don't know, on just a friend, I guess. I don't know. You going to the beach, you get hit in the pool, get these shorts. Let people know that you work and you also a star. With that being said, the defense team took it one step further. They didn't just say, they're not just saying that the person was threatened. They actually had the DA on the prosecutor talk about the actual threats that they were given. And some of these threats, they couldn't even follow through with. So they were just malicious. They told a dude that been here since he was 5 years old that they're going to have him deported. How? Did he commit a crime? Shout out to Janine from DC with the dub drop. Hey, should we do no. I'll leave that for the Tonight Show. We'll do Saloon during the Tonight Show. Shout out to Jeannie. I don't know. We should do Saloon in the morning, right? Let me know. Whenever y'all put a breakfast meal on your drop, then I'll do the Saloon for those drops. Shout out to Janine DC with the $20 drop. No comment. Clint Eastwood eyes. All of the things. Tori Mosley says, the best Melly can do is not get the death penalty, but there's no way he's getting off scot-free. When we get to 20 likes, I'll discuss the possibilities or the chances of reasonable doubt, or where reasonable doubt might have already have seeped into the brains of said individuals. I cannot answer that right now. We are live. So that's what we'll do. When we get to 30 likes. So y'all got to hit that like button and we'll start discussing reasonable doubt. But y'all can put it in the chat. So I'm going to continue to discuss this detective for the time being. So I want to be clear about something, and I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. The prosecution has twice shown that the way that they're investigating this particular case might be able to be held under scrutiny. I'm not sure. Somebody check that out. I believe it's a state case. I don't believe it's federal. There's no reason for it to be federal. I think it's a state case. Somebody check it for me, though. I believe it's state. There's no reason for it to be federal. This isn't the, you think the USDA is doing this BS? Nah, this got to be a state. That's a terrible damn DA. That prosecuting attorney is terrible. This has to be state. There's no way that that person could be that bad and it'd be federal. There's just no way. In my opinion, there's just no way. This person is terrible. They're just terrible. As soon as you know that that individual was not going to give you the testimony that they wanted to give you, you don't call them. I get it, though. The defense is going to call them. So you kind of got to deal with it one way or the other. But the defense calling them and you calling them gives two different to the jury. You understand? It gives two different, motives and motivations, whatever the case might be. They're just different, fam. And that goes to the jury. So it's depending on what side of it you want to be on the argument of. Do you want to be the argument of why you didn't call the individual, which I would rather be on the side of the argument of Or do you want to be on the argument of you called the individual that you threatened that they better do this or they better do that? It's whatever side of the argument you feel that you could do the best on. That's the way I look at it. Just not for nothing. That's the way I feel about it. Let me know how you guys feel. Also, the detective came off as Schmon. You know how you could say a word in your head, but your mouth just won't enunciate the pronunciation eloquently? So you like, should I say it anyway? Okay, so this guy seemed like he wasn't on the up and up. All right, fuck it. I'm not going to be able to say that word. This guy didn't look like he was on the up and up. So now you put a detective in front of the jury that just says that he was using his that you've just heard that he told a witness, a potential witness at the very least, that he would use his authority in order to make their life bad if they don't get on the stand and testify to what they want to testify to. And not for nothing, he looked like he was probably a cop you shouldn't trust. So the prosecution, without a shadow of a doubt, I think had made a big mistake bringing this guy on the stand. But they made the mistake before they brought the guy on the stand. Their case was falling apart. Their case been falling apart. Now we know why it took so long for them to take YNW Melly to trial. Everybody forgets a previous time that they were supposed to actually go to trial and it was being postponed. Yes, that is witness intimidation. That's a fact. A previous time when they were supposed to go to trial and they got postponed, they literally said that the prosecution literally said that they were witnesses that were changing their stories. And that's one of the reasons. It was like something along those lines. They was having witness problems. And that's one of the reasons in which why it was postponed previously. So this has been an issue. This has been an issue. Ben Roman said both sides made good arguments. I'm not really discussing the arguments that either side made at this point. We're really just talking about, but I mean, the prosecution should have had an incredible argument. Just so we could be clear. So, yeah, the prosecution should have had an incredible argument. If we ever get to 30 likes, we're going to get to that conversation, Mako, just so we could be clear. Y'all got to hit that like button. When we get to 30 likes, I'm going to speak about where I believe there to be some reasonable doubt. Hit that like button. We got 52 people in here. I want to send out some notifications. Y'all want to hear what I got to say, right? Or you're not here to hear what I got to say. You're here for different reasons. People be like, I'm not here to hear what Jack got to say, but I'm gonna listen to it. They be like, there's no way I'm gonna hit that like button and so Jack can say that thing that we want to know about. I'm gonna hold on to this like forevers and evers. I'm not gonna participate in a positive way to these communications. We only 3 likes away, by the way. Oh man. So I found that interesting, that the prosecution keeps calling people who basically their testimony comes into question. Because can you trust this police officer? And he's the lead detective. Can you trust him? You understand that by implying that he was trying to force other people to say the things that he wanted them to say, that actually brings into question his whole testimony, right? That's the implication. We do understand this, right? What the defense team was actually going for. The prosecution doesn't have a case. I keep trying to explain to y'all, you're not trying to prove that your client is innocent. I got another thing I'm about to tell y'all. You're not supposed to prove, you're not trying to prove that your client is innocent. You're trying to prove that the prosecution has no case. That's another thing that they got the detective to admit to. That there were potential suspects that they never even questioned. What up to the few? The defense got the witness to testify that they were potential suspects that he never even questioned. How can you say, so did you investigate the case, or did you try to find a way to say that my client did it? Did you investigate the case, or did you try to find if there was evidence of guilt that pointed at my client? I'll discuss the reasonable doubt in a second. We only 1 like away. I might need 3 extra likes because you know there's at least 2 people that hit the like button just for it to get to the point, just so they could take the like back. You know there's at least 2 people that did that. So imagine being a juror. Imagine being a juror and the prosecution is telling you that they investigated a case and that's the man that they believe did it. The other detectives was out there working double time. They investigated this case. That's the guy that we believe is the culprit. And then the detective gets on the stand and say, well, we never really looked at anybody else. We didn't actually investigate the case. We went over there and saw the things that linked him to it. That was basically it. Ben Roman says, at the same time, by him admitting that under oath, he shows he's telling the truth even when it comes to the suspect ways of interrogation. It's a double-edged sword. How is that showing he's telling the truth? I need for you to explain that to me. How, when you're under oath and you have no choice but to tell the truth, does it explain away you trying to coerce somebody into getting onto the stand and saying something that they don't believe is the truth? How does that explain that away? Because that's the actual discussion we're having. In all fairness. Remember, I'm criticizing him because he tried to force people to give testimony. I have not said any of the testimony he gave was incorrect. I haven't even talked about the validity of his testimony. Just that the fact that he tried to get people to give testimony that they are saying they don't believe in puts into question the testimony that he did give, which it does. Yeah, but you're arguing something that I'm not even talking about. I just want to be clear on this. I don't know what you're trying to say I'm saying. You're talking about something that has nothing. I'm going to talk about what I'm talking about. You could talk about that in the chat. OGK Network says, so the verdict could go any way. Well, the verdict could always go anyway. We're at 32. So I'm going to tell you where the reasonable doubt actually sets in. Do y'all remember when 10K Management, or 10K, whatever his name is, 10K, he brought YNW Melly's phone to the police? Just keep that in the back of your mind. Just don't forget that that's a thing. So basically, Bortland Hold on. I don't want to get into that yet. That's off. So after the situation happened, a text came from YNW Melly's phone to a different gang member, I believe, and it read, "I did that, THAT. I'm going to say this again. So a text message went out from the phone around the time of the incident, right after the incident allegedly happened, that read, "I did." Whenever it went out is not important when it went out, but it went out, and it read, "I did that, THAT. YNW Melly's defense counsel went over YNW Melly's DMs and his other interactions that he's had on in texting, and at no time when he says that does he text DHAT. He texts DAT. And for people that think that this is small and little and don't mean nothing, remember, they didn't find his phone on him. Someone brought his phone down to the police station. And in addition to that, remember, they're saying around the time of the incident, what they believe to be right after the incident happened, YNW Melly called Fredo Bang, went to Fredo Bang's house, and that's where his phone allegedly was left. So let's say the person who actually did it text, "I did that." They're saying it wasn't YNW Melly. So I'll give everybody a second while I respond back to, I'm going to look at what Ben Roman wrote. I don't know if I'm going to respond back to it. Does anybody understand? Why would you think that that's important? I have my reason for thinking why that's significant. Why do you think that that's significant? Let me just read this guy's comment real quick. I'll give y'all a second. I'll give Ben Roman a second for him to reply to this, because what his comment was, I'll read his comment. It kind of lends to this conversation. "I think you're saying he might beat this. I'm not saying he will or won't beat this. I haven't taken any position on this. Please don't infer that I'm saying anything. I'm just having a conversation about the things that's happening. That's it." He admitted under oath he applied pressure to get confessions. "I hope you're right for this young man's sake," but Melly admitted doing it in his DMs. So that's what we're discussing. The prosecution, the defense team is saying that that was not Melly, actually, and that that was someone else. And they can tell that that was someone else because of the way in which they text. The argument is being made that Melly never texts like that. Ever. And we all know you can tell people by their text often. We all know that that's a thing. So how do you think the jury is going to accept that information? And what do you think the defense team was really trying to say? Because they was actually saying something under that. Whether they realize it or not, I'm pretty sure they realize it. They're smarter than me, fam. I'm assuming. OGK Network said the problem is the forensics debunked the drive-by shooting, so they only have Melly as a suspect because the phone brings him to the crime. Look, we're having the same conversation, fam. And if you're not listening to what the phone brings, whoever had the phone to the crime. 10K had the phone. One plus one is two. Now, what were you saying? Remember, the prosecution can't put Melly with his phone. So everything that's happening on that phone, the jury doesn't know if that's Melly for certain. The defense team, I believe, whole entire defense so far, not their whole entire defense, but whenever they have the opportunity, what they have been doing is pointing out that Melly has not had his phone. Now check this out, and this is something that I don't know if they will do or not. But you know, most artists don't actually control their social media or their phones often. They'll have a burner phone. You know who often have their actual phone and their actual accounts? Their management. I don't think Ben Roman is paying attention, but sure, why not, right? Once I used somebody's phone like 3 years ago. I guess that's my phone also, right? I don't think that's Ben Roman, so I'm going to stop saying your name. I think that's a fake Ben Roman account. For everybody that don't know, if you've ever donated on this page, there's a cloned account of yours, and they come in here and disrespect me every now and then with your cloned account. Or come in here and have conversations, and even after I've proven that maybe, the logic might be a little bit flawed, they're going to keep pushing the issue. So they can make it seem like I'm arguing with somebody that I'm not arguing with. And then they go back and tell the person I disrespected them. So, yeah. Shout out to Satan. Not a real shout out. Definitely not a real shout out. We're going to talk about the ballistic forensics in a second. I want to get past this. Also, there's going to probably be clips out there with people. Whenever you see somebody take a clip of mine and they cut it short, obviously they're giving you misinformation. I just want to throw that out there. I can't be sitting here worried about every word I speak, because there's people out there that take my words out of context and other people that believe them after they've been taken out of context. You just got to let Satan do their job. Those people are already going to hell, so they don't really care about life. They're just trying to figure out how to get more people to go to hell with them. I'll explain the forensics when we get the 40 likes. Who else want to hear about the forensics, fam? When we get the 40 likes, I'll talk about the forensics. Who want to talk about the forensics? He said, my bad, bros. Brain still sleep. I'm happy with the comments, fam. I do not want anybody to stop commenting when you're trying to be a part of the conversation. I'm just saying, it does look like you're trying to catch up. It could seem like you just woke up. It doesn't. Also, y'all guys often go to other people's pages and you listen to their arguments, or their positions. Then you come over here and you tell me their position, and I usually tear their position to pieces. So, I get it. You heard the other guy talking about something for an hour, so you might feel that way. And then I talk about it and tear it to pieces in like 2 seconds. And you're like, nah, because you want to say more of what the other person was talking about. So you want to add more because you think that that's going to change the outcome. It might. What the hell do I know? OGK Network said, was 10K in the car during the drive to the hospital? Don't know. But I think you're understanding reasonable doubt. No one said that the only 4 people at the scene were those 4 people. The only thing that we know is that there was only 4 people sitting in the car. I'm going to say that again. When we get to 40 likes, I'll discuss the forensics. When we get to 42 likes, because there's always people that want to just add the like and then take the like back to be spiteful. When we get to 42 likes, I'll talk about the forensic. But they're saying that there were 4 people in the car. They're not saying there was only 4 people at the scene. There could have been 10 people at the scene, fam. We don't know. What we do know is there was only 4 people in the car. Has anyone spoke on why Melly allegedly did this? We could talk about the allegations about why people will believe he did such a thing. Allegedly, one of the dudes, first of all, allegedly he was getting extorted. That's the first thing that I heard going around about this. Personally, me. I'm not going to say my source. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. But allegedly, he was being extorted. Right? So a lot of these rappers are being extorted. A lot of these rappers are being friendly extorted. Allegedly, he was being extorted. And not just extorted, but the dude was also banging his moms. And not only that, there was a fight the day before between him and the dude. And not only that, the reason why they fought the day before was because the dude allegedly disrespected his mother. His mother came online to confirm that there was a problem between him and the dude due to disrespect shortly after he was arrested. So that's bananas. So there's reason, there's reason why he would have harmed this individual. That doesn't mean that he did, though. But there's reason. OGK Network said there's only 4 people in the car and the manager was not in the car at the time. I'm going to say this again. I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying. We know that there were 4 people in the car, but that doesn't mean that there was only 4 people at the scene. No one said there was not people standing outside the car. Do we know that to be a fact? I think it was common knowledge that the moms were sleeping with dude. I don't know if the moms admitted to whatever. I'm not concerned. I don't care about that. Because even the rumor it still gives the same. And the rumor was there. And even the rumor gives the same gravity. So it doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. I believe some people think 100K is going to take the stand for the defense. I don't know how true that is. His Instagram, shout out to AK-47. So his Instagram apparently has been scrubbed or whatever the case is. He's disappeared or from social media along those lines or something like that. So AK-47 believes that there's a good chance that he's gonna be taking a stand for the defense. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he isn't. I don't know if he should. Because once he takes the stand for the defense, unless you blame him for doing it on the stand, then you can't raise reasonable doubt that it might have been him. So I don't know if that's the thing to do. I don't know if he's taking the stand. I don't know if I'm the defense. I would want to put anybody on the stand that I want to raise reasonable doubt against. So that doesn't make sense to me. It looks like it might there's too much potential for backfire. That's all. I wouldn't do it. And I also don't know what they if he's taking a stand, what they plan on him saying, just so we can be clear. So him taking a stand, he might really be saying something. When we get to 40 likes, I'm gonna discuss the trajectory of the shots and the forensics. Oh, also, with that being said, if you want to support the page, the channel, the movement in any way, shape, or form, you can pull up to the Cash App, the Super Chat, and or the PayPal. Or you could go down there. We have articles of clothes on most of our lives pinned. We have an article pinned today. You could go to our shop. Go see what we got down there. I'm pretty sure you're gonna like something. A lot of our stuff is kind of fashy. A lot of our stuff is just different. We don't all gotta look the same. Do that. Five more likes and we talk about the forensics. What we at? We at 46 minutes into the show. I'm cool with it right now. I'm cool with staying on the topic. Is it if there's anything? Oh shoot, I'm gonna have to charge this phone pretty soon. If there's anything that you guys want to discuss, put it in the chat. If there's anything that you guys want to discuss, put it in the chat. I don't know how much longer this. If we cut the show, it's a power issue, by the way. I need to buy more of them dongle things to charge stuff with. I'm busy trying to figure out how to get an extra port real quick. Give me 1 second. It's not bright enough. All right. I don't know if that's the same brightness. Is that the same brightness? Sorry about that. Checking the thing. Sly B says, how strong the prosecution case been so far? I don't think it's been. I think the prosecution has made many mistakes. I just think the prosecution has made a lot of mistakes. Just period. Ben Romas is not to change the subject, but I hear G Hobo picked up Melly after the murders And now G Herbo got booked. You think they applying pressure? It wasn't G Herbo that said picked up Melly. It was Fredo Bang. Not G Herbo. It was Fredo Bang. He allegedly left his phone at Fredo Bang's crib. He allegedly went to Fredo Bang's crib, left his phone, and changed his clothes. The changing of his clothes, it's what they're trying to say that implies that he was actually in the vehicle. I will discuss this when we get to 40 likes, because all of this is part of the forensics. So when we get to 40 likes, 5 more likes, I'll discuss this. We got 62 people in here. We can get 5 more likes, man. Well, 6 more likes. We got to get to like 41 or 42. More than happy to discuss it, but we got to get those likes up. You got to give me something, fam. Y'all complain when I ask. Y'all complain when I say support. Not everybody, obviously. But people complain when I say, you know what? You like the show, support the platform with drops. Don't tell me you're going to also complain when I say, if you like the show, hit the like button. Like, what the fuck, fam? So you like the show, but you're going to do nothing. You're going to do 0 things ever. But you like the show. But you're never going to do anything that's going to allow for the show to be able to do better. But you like the show. Sheesh, man. That's the part that kills me. I'll be like, what the fuck, man? I'll be like, I assume you don't like the show. You can't hit a like button. You can't. So don't get mad at me, fam. I assume you don't like the show. Anyway, if we ever get to 40 likes, when we get to 40 likes, I guess, I'll discuss the forensics. Is the defense saying Melly wasn't there at the scene? That goes with the forensics. That goes with the conversation with the forensics. When we get to 40 likes, I'll discuss that. As part of the forensics conversation. I can't discuss that without discussing the forensics. Sorry. Don't be mad at me. More than happy to discuss it, by the way. Don't get mad at me, though, fam. We need 3 more likes. I tell you what, if somebody pull up to the... See, I want 3 more... We need 3 more likes. If we had Cash Apps drops this morning, I would be like, fuck it, let's just go. And I make the numbers a little bit different. But we need at least 2 more likes. We got 2 more likes. Come on. I want some kind of support, fam. Like, some kind of support. I'm just asking for likes right now. Like, imagine a nigga... Like, I'm just asking for likes, man. Like, sheesh. Anyway, Ben Roman says, start talking about... Actually, I have a Gunner conversation and a 6ix9ine conversation for later in the show if we ever get through this. Start talking about 6ix9ine or Gunner and you have 1 million likes. Like, is that 100,000? I have 100,000 likes. This generation likes rats. They can't like to show someone fighting for their life. We live in a weird world, man. Shout out to Rule. Don't nobody see them dots. Jones. Hope everything is going well with yours. It's Salute BB and friend. If you are enjoying any aspect of the show, you can hit the like button. But besides hitting the like button, you can also pull up to the Cash App, the Super Chat, and or the PayPal. Any type of donations is always appreciated. Obviously, there is no like limit. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Any type of donations is always appreciated. If we get some drops this morning, maybe we go do a walk around Coney Island. That's what I'll tell you what, I promise you that. We get some drops this morning to the Cash App, we'll do a walk around Coney Island. Maybe we'll go get some pizza or something and walk around, and I'll show you where this dope-ass pizza spot, whereas if you come to Coney Island, you gotta pull up. That's what we'll do. Oh, we have 40 likes. Let's discuss forensics. Okay, the first thing I want to say about the forensics is this. Do y'all remember a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, people were saying, yo, man, they're going to get Portland. They gonna put all of this shit on Bortland. Yo, they gonna put this shit on Bortland. They trying to make the evidence say Bortland did it. Remember everybody was saying that? Does everybody remember when people were saying that? Put it in the chat. Drop some frost in the chat if you remember that conversation. There was a lot of YouTube content creators that was saying that. I was not saying that. There were people coming into our chat, bringing that information to me because they got it from a YouTube content creator who they most likely, you know, appreciate their content. They like them. So they came over here to discuss it with me. Does anybody remember when it was big talk that Bortland is going to end up going to, getting found guilty of this because people were saying that YNW Melly is going to beat it? I want to say something. I want you to pay attention. They didn't find any gunshot residue, GSR, on Bortland's hands. But they did find gunshot residue on Bortland. You want to know where they found it at? They found it on his left shoulder and his right shoulder. Do y'all remember what I told y'all happened? I said the person, and this is what's everybody's been saying basically. We said the person that was sitting in back of the driver shot the other two people. That's why there will be gunshot residue on his shoulder. Because when he put the gun up, it would have been side by side with Bortland, who was driving, shoulder. So the defense team can't put this on Bortland. So if the defense team wants to raise reasonable doubt, their reasonable doubt can't be saying, you know, YNW Melly wasn't the only one in the car. That's why they have to keep saying our client wasn't even there. Now I want to talk about some information that was thrown out that the jury didn't get an opportunity to see. They did forensics on the actual trajectory of the bullet. And what they were saying is that one of the reasons why they believe YNW Melly did it is because of the angle on the shots. It lines up with how tall he sits in the car. All of that information was thrown out of court. That's inadmissible. Now, I said something a minute ago, and I want you to understand what I was saying. I wasn't saying there was more than 4 people sitting in the car. I was saying when the situation happened, how do we know who was the 4 people that was sitting in the car? Now, we know for a fact Bortland was there because of the gunshot residue. We know for a fact the 2 people that aren't here with us no more was there because they're not here with us no more. The second thing that the gunshot residue shows is that the gunfire had to come from inside the car. I'm going to say that again. It shows that the gunshot had to come from inside the car because there's no way it was a drive-by. And gunshot residue got on anybody in the car that didn't get shot. What y'all have to understand is when a gun fires, the pin hits the back of the cartridge. The gunpowder inside the cartridge then ignites. What everybody is used to seeing is the smoke shoot out the front of the gun because it looks dope on movies. But in reality, what happens is smoke shoots out the entirety of the gun. It's like a small explosion. Gunshot residue also kicks back at the person. It goes out in all directions. And a circular pattern. It's like a spherical pattern. So if they were shooting them at him from a different car, gunshot residue wouldn't have got on the driver because the gun would have been too far away from the actual driver. It would have been in a whole nother car. The driver would have had to have been shot in order to have any of the gunshot residue on him. Ben Roman says, I feel the evidence is pointing at Melly, but it's not what you know, it's what you could prove. It's always what you could prove in the court of law. OGK Network says the problem is that there's too much proof that proves Melly was in the car and at the scene of the crime. What proof proves Melly was in the car? You tell me right now. Because they haven't proved Melly was in the car in the actual court of law. And they closed their case. What evidence proves Melly was in the car? Shout out to King Will. Salute. It's a BBN fan. Fro. Salute. What evidence proves King Will was in the car? I'm here. I'm listening. They proved he was in the car at some point. They can't prove he was in the car when that shit happened. I was in a cab a couple of days ago. There's probably video evidence of me getting in that cab. A crime happens later on that night in that cab. There's no proof I was at the crime. There's only proof that I got in the cab. I mean, the cab has camera inside, but you understand what I'm saying. They got the video that got him getting in the car at the studio, but none that he didn't get out a block away. Exactly. They have no proof that he did not get out of the vehicle. They have no proof he was still in the vehicle when the shit happened. The cell phone GPS proves that his cell phone was there. You're talking about shit that they literally did not allow in court mostly. The cell phone proves that the cell phone was there. He didn't even have his cell phone. 100K gave his cell phone to the police. I'm talking about the evidence that is in the courtroom. I'm not talking about the shit that's in the internet. Have I said something wrong? If I've said something wrong, put it in the chat. I'm here, I'm listening. If I've said something wrong, put it in the chat. I'm not saying they dropped him off at a red light, but how do you know they didn't? How do you know that they didn't meet up with a different car that he got in? So you're trying to tell me that the jury is supposed to convict people based on testimony that somebody can't probably prove? That's the level of that you want to put for the prosecution? He can't prove he didn't do it? You know, it's innocent until proven guilty. You're treating him like he's guilty until proven innocent and then arguing with me over it. I need to understand what I'm saying is wrong. The problem with your argument, I'm not saying there was another car. I'm saying that, how do you know there wasn't? You brought the car up. I didn't bring up a car, fam. How you gonna bring up the car and then make that part of your argument against me? So you just bringing stuff up, you adding stuff to the equation, but then pretending like I'm saying it. How do you think I should feel about that? I'm curious. You brought the car. I didn't bring the car up. I didn't say he even got out a block away. I didn't say any of that. I said he got in the vehicle, but there's no proof that he was there when it happened. That's it. I said nothing else. All of the assumptions you have made. Innocent until proven guilty, fam. I know people like to call people guilty and make them prove their innocence, but that's not righteous. How do you know there wasn't anything? The prosecutor want Melly so bad they mixed apples and grapes and screwed the whole case up. I'm gonna let OGK Network keep saying all the comments you want to say, fam. I'm gonna respond back to what other people were saying because you're just trying to say the opposite of what I'm saying, and you're also saying I'm saying things that I'm not saying, and that's kind of frustrating, and I don't want to deal with it. Rude don't nobody nobody see them dots. Jones says the prosecutor want Melly so bad they mix up great apples and grapes and screwed the whole case up. What I believe happened is this. What I believe happened is they put their information out too early. And that gave people that was involved in the case time to think about it. And some people was thinking, this don't affect me and I don't want to deal with it. They didn't want to be a part of it. Then the prosecution tried to force them to be a part of it. Yeah, I said Fredo Payne picked them up. I'm just kicking you. Boom. So I want to be clear about this, and I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. The prosecution took, and I'm not going to say an easy case to win, but a case that wasn't too difficult to win. And they lost a lot of their witnesses, which made it so they couldn't use evidence. What I'm always trying to explain to y'all is when you bring in evidence in front of a jury, generally speaking, you need to have a witness that could contextualize why this evidence is important. When they lost their witnesses, they lost the ability to bring a lot of this evidence into the case. Period. That's just what happened. I don't think that was the real OGK Network, by the way. So I just kicked them. So I say all that to say this. In the world of innocent until proven guilty, I don't think that the prosecution has proven their case. I haven't watched it as closely as many other people also. But as far as I can tell, they haven't been able to put YNW Melly at the scene. And that is much of their issue that they have. Was he there? I don't know. From what I know, I believe that they should have been able to get a guilty verdict pretty easily. But they have a problem putting YNW Melly at the scene. For the people that's saying his cell phone was there, but they didn't get his cell phone off of him. They got his cell phone from his manager. But his cell phone was it, but they got his cell phone from his manager. He called somebody after it happened, but that person is testifying that what they told the police is incorrect, that they told the police something that was wrong. So they don't actually have him at the scene. We'll see what happens. We'll find out what happens. And the best thing that I could say in regards to this whole YNW Melly with the forensic situation in particular, the powder being found through Bortland exonerates him from first degree. All he could do at this point is help after the fact. That's it. I would argue. See, Bortling obviously can't take the stand. YNW Melly obviously can't take the stand. But I would argue that the defense is probably going to push for there was another person that was actually in the vehicle. Allegedly, they were being allegedly he was being extorted, and they actually had a fight the day before, physical fight the day before that had something to do with one of them disrespecting his mother. So that's basically what all of that was about. That's the reasoning why the judge, why the prosecution is saying he did what he did. Ben Roman says sounding like YNW Melly is going to be remixing Murder Was a Case and making a killing of this. I'm not sure he's going to be. I think his appearance in court, I think the way he looked like he a killer. Not a killer like a savage, but like he's guilty of doing something sinister. He looks like a very untrustworthy individual. I don't care what nobody thinks. It looks like he's up to nefarious fucking deeds. So there's no telling which way the jury might go, because you can't. The human heart, I would need to be in court and looking at the jury, but the human heart is just different. You could be being extorted, and then when you kill the person, you become a killer, which you weren't while you was being extorted. I don't understand what part of that you can't understand. You're not a killer until you do it. You haven't hit a jump shot until you've hit a jump shot. But after you hit a jump shot, there was still a point before when you had never hit a jump shot, right? That time of period of time doesn't just disappear, does it? Even if he gets convicted, major grounds for appeal, I believe so. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I believe so. He was rapping about killing before he killed them. Many rappers rap about killing and have never killed anybody. You got women out here rapping about being whores, and they not even whores. They at home with their wife, and they at home with their husbands being faithful, or their boyfriends being faithful. I don't understand. You saying people can't lie? I don't understand. What else y'all want to talk about? We only got a couple of more minutes. My phone is about to die. I'm on 4% battery power, and I got it plugged in. It's just not charging fast enough. Whole image is a fraud? Yeah, and I'm pointing out that a lot of these rappers are frauds. It's just, that's what it is. It's a sad thing, but that's what it is at this point. A lot of these rappers are frauds. It is what it is. with all due respect. Give me 1 second. I'm getting the thing. Oh, I'm doing the thing. Rappers dying outside of Drake, Kendrick, K. Cole is just a board of cold cases and twerking. Well, people are spending more time on their marketing, which usually causes for the court cases. And we went through a pandemic where a lot of rappers, their money slowed up. So a lot of these rappers then started doing stuff they probably shouldn't have been doing, that weren't previously doing. Although they were a lot of rappers already into that side. If rapper were real, all these raps, they end up like AR-Rap, Free That Man. There's rappers that have been deep into the drug game and never got arrested and got out of it. I'm not going to try to blow nobody up and say nothing weird, but just like there's rappers that have murdered and got away with it and nobody know that they murdered and they out here right now making music and they're not even a part of that life no more. The problem isn't that all rappers is faking. The problem is that most of the rappers that's faking it the hardest, niggas love. The most of the real niggas, I don't even fuck with them. How many of the real nigga rappers do y'all really fuck with? Like, besides 50? Y'all don't really fuck with them. 50, fucking Chief Keef. And when I say real niggas, I'm not even gonna put Chief Keef in there. That's more of an ignorant. That's more ignorant. However y'all want to accept that. I'm not trying to disrespect them. I'm just saying what it is. But 50, how many real nigga rappers is there really? You understand what I'm saying? That was really out here doing it. 50, people want to throw Jay-Z on that list. No, I'm not putting Lil Durk. I'm not putting none of them drill rapper niggas on that list because I don't consider them to be real as much as I consider them to be ignorant. So I'm not putting none of them on that list. I'm not talking about the dudes that's out there just killing to kill because that's different. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about dudes that was out there that even if they had to do something like that, it was because it was no other choice. You understand? There's a difference. Don Q. Shout out to Don Q. Shout out to the X. Jeezy. Shout out to Jeezy. Wu-Tang Gucci. Shout out to Jeezy, Wu-Tang, and Gucci. Salute. I've watched some of the trial live, not most of it, because I can't see the jury, so I can't do the thing that I do. So I've only watched a little bit of it live. I'll check out clips and excerpts more than anything else. Why you ask? Give me a second. I'm gonna look at my door. What else y'all want to ask? The power's going up a little bit. I used this other thing. But it only got like 1 bar on there, so that shit ain't gonna hold. It ain't gonna hold much longer. What else y'all want to talk about? Put it in the chat. Nothing? We done? We done? There's nothing else y'all want to talk about? We got 70 people in here. What else y'all want to talk about? Hit that like button while you at it. Also, if you are enjoying any aspect of the show, you can always pull up to the PayPal, Cash App, and or Super Chat. You could go cop some merch. We got a merch store. We have a pinned item. You might want to check out the pin item, some dope ass shorts you might want to buy, especially if you got a trucker in your family. It's our new BBN trucker shorts, especially if you got a trucker in our family, or you just, when you go to the beach, you want people to know, I got a CDL. Go cop those shorts. If those shorts do well, if that trucking merch do well, I might just do CDL merch for all y'all truckers out there. What else y'all want to talk about? I don't want to hold y'all. What time is it? It's going on 11. It's in normal time. And we might be going outside today, and I might take y'all for a walk around Coney Island real quick. I think I'm gonna go get us. If I go get pizza, I'm gonna take y'all walk around Coney Island, take you to a nice pizza place. I like their pizza a lot. I had a meeting. I'm bad at meetings. I'm just real bad at because stuff will come up. And if something comes up and it's something that is like somebody needs help, I'll just drop everything I'm doing sometimes and I get caught up with other shit. Or if I think like, anyway, I'm bad with meetings, real bad. All right, I'm gonna let y'all go. We're gonna get on with the rest of our day. We should be going live. Like yesterday, I went live a couple of times. We should be going live today. I'm gonna get off now because if we go live, it'll give us, it's much easier after having been doing all of this talking for like. I'm gonna say something real quick. So when I'm outside and I go to a spot and I'm doing a live, after that live is over, I want to head straight home. I'm tired, fam. Like this is. I'm not complaining. I'm explaining. This can be exhausting. Like just talking for 3 hours sometimes, 2 hours about whatever topics. Mentally and physically, this could be exhausting. I think sometimes people don't take that into consideration. Like I'll be doing some shit and they be like, "You just talking," but then when you have to do it, you be like, you might be at the 40-minute mark and you feel like you've been doing it for like 3 hours and you're only at the 40-minute mark, fam. With that being said, I appreciate everybody. Please go out there, have a blessed day. Go do some good, stamp God's name on it at the end of the day. Like, comment, subscribe, join the notification game. Hashtag Bronx Bones. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you, and that's all I got on this one. I'm out.